Welcome to Slash Bash, where today I am bringing you another Entitled Parents Reddit video. In our first story, an entitled mother and her boyfriend tried to get me and my friend arrested. Let's jump right in. I want to start off this post by saying that I was 12 years old at the time this happened, and I'm in high school now. My friend was about the same age. There were these two kids at my bus stop, the kids of the entitled mother. She was dating a random guy, her entitled boyfriend. I was walking home from the bus with my friend, and we were standing in the apartment parking lot, which, keep in mind, has many cars in it. It was a relatively big apartment complex, and every spot was filled usually. The parking lot was shaped like a large oval with spots around the perimeter. It was probably designed this way to make it easier for large vehicles to not have to turn around in a narrow space. In the center of the lot, there was a pretty big median covered in grass. There were steps, a street light, and a big tree, so my friend and I would hang out there after school and talk. We were standing on the curb of the median, and there were cars parked around the perimeter of the median as well. We were not messing with the cars in any way. About halfway through our chat, we saw a guy standing on the steps of one of the apartment buildings, smoking and staring at us. Who is that guy? I have no clue. He's probably not looking at us. He's probably just looking at something else. We went on with our chat when the man got into his car and backed out of his parking space. He went around the circle and drove very slowly by us, staring at us out the window. We looked back at him while he stared. We both agreed it was super creepy. The end, I wish. Anyways, we kept talking, and a few minutes later, a cop car pulls up next to us. This wasn't unusual because cops frequently patrol the neighborhoods. The cop rolls down his window. Hey guys, hey, have you seen people stealing stuff out of cars? No. It suddenly occurred to us to tell him about the dude. We did see a man driving a car by here earlier. He was really weird, just staring at us. The cop thanked us and pulled down the street a bit and parked his car. A few minutes later, a woman appears, entitled mother. She's barreling towards us with the most raging, livid look on her face, a full Karen. Is she mad at us? What did we do? I have no clue. Before we know it, entitled mother Karen is screaming at us, raging, as if we had just kidnapped her dog. I was freaking out. Back then, I was the goody two-shoes of the school who had never gotten yelled at by a teacher in my life. You two were stealing out of my car. That wasn't us. I think you have the wrong people. My boyfriend told me it was a girl in a white coat and a boy in a gray hoodie. I looked at my friend. Sure enough, he was wearing a gray hoodie. It clicked for both of us. That creepy stalker man was entitled boyfriend. We swear we didn't touch anything. That's BS. You two are liars and thieves. Ma'am, I'm going to get my car tested for fingerprints and you two are getting arrested. By then, 12-year-old me was literally shaking. But I'm talking to that cop down there and I'm going to tell him to arrest you. I genuinely thought I was going to jail at that point. She storms away, running down to the cop in his car. I booked into my apartment, shoving the key into the door, ushering my friend into the hallway. We run up the stairs, breathless as it is, thinking we just escaped handcuffs and a life sentence in federal prison. We tell my grandma what happened, and before you know it, most of the entire apartment building is congregating in the hallway, livid at what this lady had done to me and my friend. My neighbor called the non-emergency police line and asked them to come back. The officer who had been there in the first place interrogated us about what had happened. He explained to us that the entitled mother had told him to arrest us, and he told her that he would look into it. He told us he didn't really think that it was us and was just going to ignore it. Anyways, you can only imagine it was super awkward when she drove her two kids to the bus stop and had to see us waiting there, knowing her justice was not served. Story number 2. Stop! My daughter is not cooked yet. This happened a few years ago in a parking lot of a mall I was going to with my mom. Mid-July, nearly 39 degrees Celsius. When we get out of the car, I saw a movement at the corner of my eyes in the car beside us. I thought it was a dog at first, and I said to my mom, "What butthole leaves a dog inside a car when it's so hot?" When I looked again, I saw that it was a baby, a 1-year-old girl sitting in the back of the car. I alerted my mom, but she thought that I was kidding. I was messing around and telling crappy jokes for the past 30 minutes of the drive, and I was the kind of kid to make some pretty dark humor jokes like that. When she didn't believe me, I bolted inside the mall, saw a security guard and informed him, with the plate number I'd memorized. He made a call through the speakers saying, "If you're not at your car in 2 minutes, say goodbye to your passenger door." I led him to the car, my mom following us, dumbfounded by this actually being true, and also infuriated. The security guard had to stop her from smashing the window right there. We waited, waving at the girl who seemed conscious through the tinted windows. After a while, a man arrived, yelling murder when he saw us. "Stop! Stop! That's my car! There's my daughter inside!" "Yes, you moron! There's your daughter inside! Open the doors now!" The entitled father unlocked his car and at the security guard's request took the baby out from the car. The car was an oven. She was soaking wet, covered with sweat, and started crying the moment she felt the relatively fresh air outside. The security guard guided us inside and handed a cup of room temperature water to the father as a drink for the baby while the security guard explained to the cashier what was happening. When this guy got the cup of water in his hands, this entitled father had the audacity to drink from it first. My mom exploded, screaming at him to give it to his daughter. "You want me to shove that glass up your butt? Or are you going to give your daughter a drink, flipping butthole? I'll break your knees and shove you in the car until you sweat blood and see how you like it." He really didn't seem to understand what was happening. He actually tried to go back to his half-full cart when the girl had finished drinking some water. The security guard stopped him just by putting a hand on his shoulder. The security guard explained to the father, who complied with every single word. "Stay right there. My colleague will take your baby, okay? There, sit down. We're waiting for the police and for the ambulance to arrive. Stay calm, breathe. Your daughter is okay, but we have to make sure about what happened, okay?" Okay. After 2 minutes, the entitled father spoke to the cashier who was holding his daughter and giving her water non-stop. "Maybe give her another cup of water, it's hot." The security guard raised his voice. I straightened my back, hearing him like when your dad yells at your brother and you just want to make sure you don't draw his attention. "Dude, shut the flip up, the police are on their way." The entitled father complied once again. And at that point, we just left. We were just standing there, low-key hoping to see the security guard kick the entitled father's butt, and we were totally useless for the most part. So I gave my info to the security guard and we went on our merry way. When we exited the mall, after about half an hour, the guy was gone. The daughter was gone, the car was still there, and the security guard waved us goodbye with a big smile. We just assumed everything had gone well. I received a phone call 2 days later from the police, who told me what happened. I learned that the entitled father was facing a fine, years of prison, and had already lost the custody of his child. Every once in a while, I think back to that day. Leaving a child in a car on a hot day is no joke. She could have died very easily. I may have actually saved her life, and I am pretty proud of myself for that. This is John from /Bash. Thanks for watching. If you've enjoyed the video and want to see more of them, then hit that subscribe button. We would love for you to drop a like, share it with your friends, and we will see you in the next one.